Will, we have a little dispute we need you to settle. I think I'm right.
Okay.
You would say your name Forte, not Forte, right?
You know what? I'm not even sure the answer to that.
That can't be your answer.
No, seriously, because we do have an accent aigu.
Yeah.
But I always thought when I was growing up that was what changed it from fort to forte. That's why we say the A part.
Yeah.
But I didn't know, you're also supposed to hit the accent.
There's no
my
emphasis.
sister has very strong feelings, and she's mad that I don't put the accent on there.
Oh.
But she would say it's forte. And I am like, it's
right.
Fort.
Everyone just
Forte.
rode my ass right before you got here.
You say it forte?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I rode your ass.
Yeah.
It was a brief conversation about whether. Yeah. But maybe
forte.
that's it.
That's my forte.
Yeah, my forte. Because if I said like, sewing is my, I don't want to pick sewing.
I think
Sewing's my forte.
Yeah.
The term, that's my
forte.
that's supposed to be fort.
Right.
That's actually supposed to be pronounced fort, and people don't know it. I don't know if that's just like some dumbass that told me that doesn't know.
Yeah.
That sounds very American to me.
Yeah.
I think the word is always forte. I don't think I've ever heard anyone just say fort.
Yeah. Not with the E on the end. No.
Answer to freaking Will Arnett a lot of times.
Yeah.
You're going to get confused for anybody.
Yeah. I get confused for Mark Cuban. Like, if I'm in like Las Vegas or something,
yeah.
people are like, I get that look, and because I'm not famous at all, and then they'll be, hey, aren't you Mark Cuban? And then if someone says that to you, if you say no, but I wish I had his wallet, and everyone laughs. If they think you're Mark Cuban and would go up to you, they just think that is the funniest thing they've ever heard.
I don't think it's very funny.
I don't think so either.
I always got confused for Ryan Dunn. Because remember him, like the jackass guy that died? Like people would go, you're Ryan Dunn, like staple your nuts to your leg or something. Not Ryan Dunn.
Wait, so how do you two know each other?
Well, we'll just why don't we get into that on the show?
Yeah, we can. So we're going to ask you.
We're going
politely.
I was like,
are we going?
The second I step into this room, it's all.
It's on.
We're going to ask you politely to just sit quietly. Your eye candy for now, which I know you're totally accustomed to. Well, you don't have to physically cover your mouth. I think you could just do that with your lips, right? You just keep the lips closed. That's it. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah. Welcome to I Love You So Much. My name is Reed Fish. I'm here with my good friend Tyler Labine.
How do you guys know each other?
That's an excellent question, Will Forte.
Yeah, exactly.
Forte?
Will Forte is here, is the interviewer on the show. And Will, we know each other because we met how so many middle-aged dads meet a kid birthday party.
Standing next to a bouncy house?
Basically.
Yeah, we sort of just gravitated to each other at like a kid's party and sort of started talking very sort of bluntly. There's a lot of like small talk at these parties, but we kind of cut through it.
Yeah. Recognized
pretty quickly that we were like real ones, as you know. And then I had a ping pong pizza dad night at my house, and I don't think we even touched ping pong paddles. We just sat in the living room with like a candle lit, and all talked about like how our lives are going and like how therapy's going. And Reed and I were immediately sort of like on the same page.
Yeah, well, I think Tyler had I was kind of going through it in my life a little bit, and Tyler had been through it, and like
a couple of years.
So he could like coach me through like a marriage ending and that kind of stuff, and so we just got to be like friends. Yeah. And Tyler, I will say it was an interesting relationship for me because Tyler was kind of aggressive in his friendship. Like he was like he
see something I want.
I feel like we met at this party and like I think he thought like I was funny or something. He was like, oh, I want to be friends. Yeah. And then would actually like people say that, but then he would actually like call me. Yeah. Or text me, or we'd see each other at drop off and stuff, and like
it's hard to make friends in your 40s, man.
Yeah, and so then we were able to cultivate that friendship because of like Tyler just wouldn't let it go.
That's it. I see something I want. Will.
You think at a certain point, like, oh, I got all my friends now,
and
then it's really fun and surprising when you meet somebody who kind of comes in and becomes a very inner circle type.
Well, and fast too, right? Like if it cuts through the nonsense. Yeah. Like Reed said, like I was a couple of years ahead of him with my divorce, and like in AA and like learning that you kind of have to lead with honesty, and if you want to like have more friends in your life, like there's one way to do it. I'd also lost a lot of friends in the divorce, which happens. And I just was like, this is the time. If I'm like if I'm ever going to make friends in Ojai, I also live in the middle of nowhere in this little tiny town. I was like, I need to have some friends. So I just started approaching people who I thought were.
Are you there now?
Yeah. Look at this. I have a tattoo that says, oh, hi. It says, oh, hi.
Oh,
because you can't get a tattoo that says, oh, hi.
Yeah.
I mean, you could.
Yeah.
You could. Maybe later this forum.
They'll put anything on.
Lots of real estate right here.
When you're at those parties, are there people you try to stay? Is it tough to meet friends? Is there like a group of guys you just don't want anything to do with?
Yeah.
Well,
absolutely.
there is
name names.
Okay, let's get into it. So
I was talking about how we were driving down and we kind of talked about this very thing, and like there are just some people that I avoid, because I'm like seen as like a funny guy, and I think there's other funny guys, and then like if we get together, you try to out funny each other, and then at a certain point, like I start feeling bad about myself because it gets like the humor gets like cutting about other people
or acerbic, and you're like, that's not
this is not like what I want to be putting out into the world. I want to like make people laugh and stuff, but like I don't want to do it at other people's expense. And
and it's a small town. It's like 9,800 people. Yeah, and a lot of the people up there were raised there, and they have this like they have their little cliques, and you kind of aren't invited in.
Yeah,
especially as a guy who like showed up, bought a house, put my kids in the school, and then moved to New York. I was like a transient dad coming in and out of town. So everyone was like, well, don't waste time with that guy. He's not here, And,
and that's when we first met. You were still working on New Amsterdam, and so you were in New York all the time. The funny thing is, like Tyler and I don't really know each other that well.
Yeah. We were talking about, this is how we're going to get to know each other.
Yeah. Effectively. Yeah. I think we just knew that we wanted to work together.
Yeah. It happened very easily. It just was like, Reed was like, hey, I think we should. He has other podcasts in the real estate photography arena.
I have these micro niche podcasts for my business. And so like my background is like, I was in Hollywood a little. I had one screenplay that got produced like 15 years ago now, but then I just could never get.
Which one?
And it's called I'm Reed Fish. It's actually my name in the title.
Jay Baruchel started.
Yeah,
it was a
I've heard
thing.
of that. I don't think I saw it.
Yeah, that's okay. It's all right. Yeah, I appreciate it. But thanks for the support.
I'm going to.
Yeah. But I could never get the second one going. And then it just, had to make money, had a kid and all that stuff. So ended up in Ojai, and then Cultivated still wanted to do that creative side. So I started some podcasts about like our industry. And so it became successful. It's like micro niche. We have like 1,000 listeners, but we make money from it because there's advertisers that want to advertise to our listeners. Yeah. And so I had that skill set. And I think Tyler, I think he saw that creativity in me, and that it was missing from my life. And I think he, offered me, because it was Tyler's idea to work together, and I really feel like, and I don't want to get emotional about it, but
do it. That's what we're doing here.
Yeah, like you saw something in me, and then you also saw that I was struggling and in pain.
Yeah,
and you offered me like this lifeline.
Oh,
hey, I love you so much, buddy. No, and then the funny thing is, about a month ago, I think when we were first starting to get this together, and like you were starting to call in your friends and to say, hey, will you be on this podcast? Yeah. And the names that we got, including Will Forte.
It's hard to do. It's shockingly hard to reach
was like everyone said yes, right? And I was just like, we were texting back and forth, and like I was like, Tyler, this is amazing. I can't believe that you're doing this. And then he's like, oh, I know it's crazy. And you texted me back, and you were like, I want to. Sorry, I'm emotional.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's a good show when the host gets emotional within 10 minutes.
Clip it. Clip this, guys.
No, but you said, hey, I just wanted to tell you, I'm so excited to do this with you. Yeah. And it felt like, I think you said, this show feels like a gift.
Yeah.
And you dropped it in my lap.
Yeah.
But you did it to me.
Yeah, it's weird. It felt very reciprocal. Like I kept thinking, like Reed came into my life and brought this thing, and then we met these guys, and like it all just happened. And like I was talking to my therapist about serendipity, and like I kind of think it's bullshit sometimes, and like, but she was like, well, it can be easy and serendipitous for a reason. Like the same way bad luck happens, like good luck happens because it's like sort of the thing that maybe you're meant to put some energy into and focus on.
And this project has been like nothing in life is easy. But this has been so easy.
That's great.
So joy-filled already,
So here we are.
The way you describe your friendship is kind of how my parents describe. My dad always describes he and my mom getting together, whereas like they kind of fell in love and then
did a podcast
after a pretty short amount. Yeah, they did a podcast.
Yeah.
After a pretty short amount of time, they got engaged, and then he immediately flew like to Massachusetts, where he was from. She was in California, and like didn't really spend any time until they got married because he didn't want her to back out.
Well,
of
mystique is an important ingredient.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're divorced now.
Yeah. Well, that's cool because we all are too. Right? We're all divorced here. Yeah. And just to put a button on all this, like that's the whole like crux of the show is like the idea is that being vulnerable with people is like kind of that's maybe the way out of some of this mire we're in general.
And being vulnerable as a man, being vulnerable with your male friends.
Yeah.
And like being able to say you love each other, being able to, platonically, and being able to be sensitive.
Cry on the first episode of your podcast.
Yes, I know.
So and then I thought one of the most sensitive, wonderful people I have ever had the pleasure of working with was you.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, no, for real. Like this guy, we went to Wilmington, North Carolina.
Yep.
I quickly became your Donkey Kong cheerleader. I think I was by your side a lot while you were playing Donkey Kong at the hitching point.
I mean, he has
like one of the highest records in the world on that Donkey Kong machine, right? Like
one of the highest registered scores.
Well, okay, but only the
I think
people
there are a
who-
lot of people who have higher scores than me, but not everybody like takes the time to register.
Well, Steve,
I don't care
which I didn't
about
do,
them.
by the way. I didn't do.
No, it
Somebody
was the dude Leo Daniels. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
You guys remember
I love that
King
you
of
remember
Kong?
him,
King
too.
of Kong was it called?
Steve
Yeah.
Wiebe.
The document. Yeah.
Steve
So
Wiebe,
those guys were from Wilmington, right? Or the Leo is.
I don't know if that whole group was from there, but he's definitely a part of that group. And there was also a
was a
movie
background
called
on the
Chasing
movie.
Ghosts.
Yeah.
Like King of Kong is obviously about Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Chasing Ghosts is like more that whole
Yeah,
world.
I saw that one too.
And I think he's a little bit more present in that documentary. But I think he's still the world record holder.
For
Tempest
and like Gallagher or something with Space Invaders. Or
King of Kong played the same. We were at the HBO Aspen Comedy Festival. My movie and King of Kong was there, so I hung out with those guys.
It's a goodie.
Bit, so.
It was,
But it was hot. It was hot at the time. So then you coming in and being
did
like,
they make it? They were gonna make a.
Yes, I pitched to
Did they
like
make
right. They were talking about making a feature about it. I remember at the festival, and I was like, I want to write it, and I didn't. And I
didn't write it either.
Yeah,
I didn't end up writing it either. Did you?
I didn't write.
So
it.
there's so many movies I didn't write.
Yeah.
It's just
There's a few I really wish I did. Yeah, there's a couple I wish I did write, but I just
So
didn't.
wait, how old are your kids now?
Oh, good question, Will.
yeah.
I can't remember. Really. I have too many.
I have one who's 10.
I have a 8-year-old, I have an 11-year-old, and a 14-year-old. And my 14-year-old, we were pregnant with her when we were doing Good Old Fashioned.
Okay, I remember that.
Yeah.
And then you have kids, right?
Yeah, I do. They're on my socks.
Oh, nice. Oh,
Is your kids? Yeah, you have 2.
Yeah. That's Cecilia and that's
Aw.
Zoe. So they're 4 and 2. Zoe's 4 and Cecilia's 2.5.
oh, that's
You have your
that's
kids on your socks.
Yeah.
You love your kids more
Like
than me.
all
I have
my
a
socks
goat.
are.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Yeah.
It's the best gift. This company. Is
Oh, I thought you meant children.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean,
even
both,
better.
Both, but
Socks.
for people who have kids,
Yeah.
this Divvy Up. Go to Divvy Up, and they
Okay.
can put faces on. They're comfy, and they're like
I love
real. And I have no stake in the company other than just like wearing their socks all the time because I keep getting them as gifts.
Yeah, it's a good gift.
Now I give them as
Socks.
gifts.
Yeah.
Yeah. It used to be like what a burn socks would be as a gift. And
Yeah,
now it's
especially
like
for like
all I want.
Father's Day. Yeah, and I thought there's no way my dad actually likes getting ties and socks every Father's Day, but he was always like, I do. Now I love it. I love getting socks and ties.
Not ties.
Not ties.
Jinx.
Yeah.
That was a double jinx.
Yeah. So I can't talk for the rest of the until you say my name 3 times.
No, but yeah, is same for is it?
But you called out the jinx.
Oh, I
know.
called it out, Tyler. Tyler. We'll wait for a while.
yeah.
Reed.
Yeah. Will.
So,
Wait, I want
do
to ask
you
you.
wear ties then? Oh,
I broke it. I don't care. I'll be jinxed. I don't care. Kids, because we haven't seen each other in a long time, and I remember the last time we hung out, we went to like lunch in like on Abbott Kinney or something. It was a long time ago. It was like you were just Uncle Will at the time. You had.
yeah.
And you really wanted kids, and it's like this has been a journey for you to get to the place where you have 2 kids now.
Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, I just thought, oh, maybe it's not in the cards because I always thought that I'd be having kids when I was 27, instead of 50. 27 is when my parents had me, so I just thought, oh, that sounds like the plan. Get married at 25, have a kid at 27.
Yeah.
And it came in very late, but then it was just presented to me, and the universe kind of presented this situation that was like, oh, it was so obvious.
Yeah. And you met your now wife.
I met my now wife she was working for a music festival. She worked for this company that put on music festivals. This was the Adult Swim comedy music festival, and I was doing a little part in John Glazer. He had this. John Glazer did a show called Delocated, where do you know that show?
No.
God, it's so funny. And he was in the witness protection program, and so he'd have like a ski hat over his head, and then he'd speak. His voice would be modulated, so he would do stand up as that character.
That's funny.
With the thing over his head and a very low voice, and it's so funny. And so I did this little part where at the very end, for some reason I forget how it gets to this, but we sang Bonnie Raitt's "Something to Talk About."
Of course you do.
And he's singing that with that voice,
with the modulated
and I'm
voice,
just with my voice. So I ran into her backstage at that thing, and I got up the guts to introduce myself, and and that led to
the courtship
2
began.
kids. Yeah.
How did you woo her initially? Like when you say you summoned up the courage, how did you do it? Because we're talking about that a lot, about like how do you approach dating and like
but then but why do you need the courage? I mean, the other question is why do you need the courage? Like you're Will Forte, you can just walk into any room.
You just came off a hot
and
bit.
walk, come on, you can go up to anybody, right?
That is not the draw that you might think. I don't know. I had pretty recently stopped drinking for like a stretch. I was like, I'd developed some bad habits. I'm like, I gotta see if I can change these habits.
I'm familiar.
And so this was during this period where I was just like, everything felt very raw and exposed.
That's the pink cloud where you're like, I'm gonna just challenge myself
and it's like,
everywhere.
normally it's like, oh, I'll have a little glass of wine, then I'll go walk,
liquid courage,
this is like, okay, I guess just gotta do it.
Right.
Raw dog?
Yeah, you raw dogged it. Yeah. It's not just for flights.
In those situations, was pretty good at talking to women if I was like introduced to them, but felt weird going up and introducing myself.
Like directly, like, hey, I like you.
Yeah.
It's like how I did it.
Yeah.
Heart was pounding in my chest. Hi, I'm Tyler. Want to be friends?
So I just eventually got up the nerve to talk to her, and that was it.
And how long ago was that now?
This would have been October of 2018. So what was that? Almost 7 years ago.
Well, so how's being an old dad? Because I feel
it's great.
Because I'm
my wife. So she got me a
4 is your oldest, 4.5.
So we 4 in February. So that would be now.
How old are you?
3 months. I'm 54 now.
Yeah.
Okay,
almost 55.
I'm 51.
I'm 47.
Nice.
Yeah.
I look a lot older than both of you though, so that's cool. Yeah.
We got engaged after about a year and a half, and then COVID hit. The day of the first day of lockdown was our first day talking to a wedding planner, and then we just after that we said, "This is stupid. Everyone's going to need to like rearrange their weddings, so let's just hold off for a while. Let everybody sort that stuff out."
Zoom wedding, right?
We did not.
Thank you.
And then after like 6 months, 3 months, she got pregnant. And so we ended up saying, okay, let's have the kid. Yes.
That's touchy
But we
stuff.
felt like it was a technicality because we were engaged. Felt like it was fine. And it was Father's Day that I found out that she was pregnant.
You had been waiting for a long time. Did you have any feelings of like, oh shit? Or was it all like, oh my God?
No, it was all excitement. And still the nerves of like, oh, am I doing this right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
am
you're
I
not.
all the time like, oh, is that dumb little thing I just did something that will be held on to
Is that
forever?
a core memory for my child?
Yeah.
Oh my God. And that happens at all these milestones in their lives. You're like, oh my God, am I... Like when they turn 5 and you realize that they're going to remember everything past that age.
Yeah, like this morning, she was up and I was trying to get out of the house to come here, and it's like, Daddy's got to do a podcast, and I guess there are things and she's like, Daddy, I want another hug. She's in this phase where she just wants hugs, and then you give a big hug, and then you're like, okay, I gotta go, and she's like, one more hug, and it's like you can't say no to
a 4-year-old hug.
However many hugs, and at a certain point, I had to just kind of shut her down and go like, no, go to your room. No,
I'm never gonna hug you again.
What was the point of this? But she's been doing. I think they teach how to podcast in schools. Like we've gone on
we went to
several different schools tours, and they all have this. It seems like they're teaching. This is
as they should.
Kids podcast. It's fun and cute. But anyway, she said. Then she started explaining like, podcast. This so you're gonna do that, and like so it's I can see on the app how long it's going to take me to get there, and it's like going from
minutes,
6:56, 6:57, because we're doing this early. These guys, if you don't know, I am serving on a jury trial. I am a juror, and so we are deliberating today. And so I have to be there at 10, which is when originally we were supposed to do this. So we said, why don't we do this at 7 a.m.?
Yeah, exactly.
I had to get everybody out.
Because
who got up the earliest of everybody? Did anybody get up in the 4s?
I got
4:30.
4:20. I woke up with horrible acid reflux.
Yeah.
My alarm was 4:30.
On the floor, and I've got the halls of medicine on the floor.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got up early. I did a little exercise.
And I
got it out of the way.
Yeah, I exercised hard last night. And then today I'll probably hit it.
I see your Instagram. I see you pumping it.
I'm trying to be fit. I'm trying to be a fit guy.
Yeah,
I mean, I changed my life. I changed my whole life.
Yeah.
It's all part of
really transformed.
The ingredients. One of them is fitness, man.
Yeah, I think it was when you met me is when you really started that. It was really like
I decided
that was the line in the sand.
Yeah, I had to do something.
Yeah.
You're so tall.
Yeah.
And I just needed to compensate
I'm
somewhere.
unfit, so it's like you had to I'm taller, so you just had to be fitter. I think that was one of the so you can't.
How tall? You're
6'3".
6'3".
Yeah.
Look, as somebody that's dating 6'3", you can be a piece of shit, and if you're 6'3", like people love.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think even more if you're a piece of shit and you're over 6'3", people.
Well,
are like,
I have my new angle.
Yeah. Just be more of a piece of shit, man.
Piece of shit. I'm gonna get hot babes. Yeah.
I went because I'm
a piece of shit.
Just shy of 5'10". Okay, I'll say it. I'm in the 5'9". 5'9.5". When you're that short,
you throw the hand.
Every little half is
I think I'm getting taller actually.
Oh, that's good.
But I have better posture. But at a certain point, I saw these women's flip flops. They were like for a woman with huge feet, and they had like this bejeweled. They were platform flip flops.
Oh yeah, sure.
I bought them so I could, like, if I had to go to a general admission concert, I could like put these things on and not have to.
This is when you were young.
Stand on my toes. No, this. Well,
this is now.
was like
so you can
15 years ago.
Right.
Years
I thought you meant as like a kid to like get into.
And I have worn them at a couple different concerts.
Yeah.
And it's really pretty crazy looking.
Do they only make the bejeweled ones for women?
Those were the only ones that I saw.
Make those
no, I mean I only saw
but
those.
They also make like masculine boots with like big soles that would lift you up as well.
I got my heels on today.
Yeah.
I didn't see those, and these were like relatively cheap.
Right.
I still have them somewhere.
I had a growth spurt in my late 20s. I went from like
Really?
5'11" and a half to just over 6 feet, and my doctor was like, it happens. It's really bizarre, but like I had growing pains at like 27 years old.
What?
Yeah,
Really?
mostly in my back, but I was like, oh my God. And I grew. So I don't know, you could be getting taller. Like it's not impossible if it's.
I think we're in
so.
shrinking age now. We're starting the other way.
Man.
Yeah.
I'm 6 feet tall, and I know everyone's like, yeah, you're 5'10". So whenever I say 6 feet tall, I have to say I'm a legit 6 feet tall.
Yeah, my dad used to say he was 6 feet tall.
I say it in my slates now. Tyler
like,
Bean, legit 6 feet tall.
5'9". For sure.
5'9".
He says he's 6 feet?
Yeah.
That's a stretch. No pun intended.
But the way he would say it, like, how tall are you, Dad? 6 feet.
Right. I mean, he's
closer to 6 than
3
5.
inches.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that far off. Yeah. I went in after I had this crazy blood clot like 2 years ago. I almost died. I had this superior mesenteric thrombosis. I know, it was really cool. I was in the hospital on blood, like a almost lethal amount of blood thinners. It was really fun.
What's the first moment you're like, there's a problem here? What happened?
I went to Sacramento, which is where a lot of bad things happen. At Sacktown, right? I got there and I was like, I thought, I landed, I was going to one of those conventions and I had this like kind of like, almost like a distended belly. Like I felt like, oh man, I must have ate something before I got on the plane, and I just feel like I I got to go take a shit. And so I went to the bathroom, and you go, and there was no relief. And then it started to get worse and worse. And I went.
Did you got some poop out though?
Oh yeah, I got it felt like it should have fixed the problem. It was that amount of poop, and it was that consistency. I was like, well, there's the sick. There's the sick right there.
Hands.
Yeah, I did wash
and
hands.
then keep going.
Especially because the level of sick that came out of me. And so then I went to the convention, and the whole weekend it was just like getting worse and worse. And you just keep thinking like, oh, I'll just have that one magical poo.
Yeah.
But then it was like there was no poo in my body, and I was like having this thing. And then I came home, and I got off the plane, and I was like, oh my God. I called my GI, because I just have a GI. I have a world famous GI named David Weinberg. He was like, it sounds like you have not prostatitis. What's the other?
You're looking at me like I know.
Pancreatitis.
Pancreatitis. Thank you. He's like, you have pancreatitis. Yeah. Which is probably worse than, I don't think prostatitis is a thing, but pancreatitis is very painful, and it's in that region. And he was like, yeah, I'm gonna need you to get like admitted to a hospital. He was like, but wait for like a day, I can get you into Cedars. I have a friend at Cedars. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna go to the Ojai ER, because that'd be ludicrous. Wait for a day. He's like, you gotta wait one more day. But I woke up the next morning at like 4 a.m. I felt like I'd been shot by like a 9mm. I was just like this like localized, intense, searing pain. Couldn't stand up, couldn't like crouch, couldn't lie down. So I drove to the Ojai ER and I admitted myself, and I was there for 9 hours, and they were like, oh, we don't know what it is. It's farts. You got the farts. I was like, I know what the farts feel like. This is not the farts. Don't give me gas X. And they just couldn't find anything. They couldn't find anything. They were checking for pulmonary embolisms, everything. Put me on morphine, which was, as a sober guy, I was like, there's a freebie. And then finally, my GI was like, he needs a CAT scan. Give him a CAT scan. And they came back in, and they're like, yeah, there's nothing with the pulmonary embolisms. And my GI was like, what about his stomach? Like, what about where he's feeling the pain? And then a doctor came back in like half an hour later, and like the tone shifted dramatically. They were like throwing words around like fatal. And got to rush you to the hospital, get you on they said we got to get him on a nearly lethal dose of blood thinners now, because if the clot moved at all, I would just die, because it was between the superior mesenteric vein is the vein between your portal vein to your intestines and your liver. So I had 2 clots, and if they moved either way, I would have probably died. And they can't operate on them because it's such a rare clot that they're like the fatality rate is like 80% fatality rate. So I was like, oh shit. So that was a big deal. And I went to the hospital for 4 days and just laid there thinking about like, okay, if I die.
Thank God for your GI, because like they probably just would have said, I guess it's gas.
Just farted out. I was like, I've been trying.
But then the treatment was just doing the thinners?
It's not operable. The thinners aren't actually even there to break up the clot, because that could be dangerous too. It's like the thinners just help my body do the natural breaking down of the clot. Yeah. So they released me from the hospital, and I was like, so they're gone? They're like, oh, no, you still have the 2 clots. It's going to take probably like 6 to 8 months for them to go away. But if you feel the same kind of pain, come back to the hospital.
Just the stereotypical men not going to the doctor.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to poop it out.
What?
Trying to poop it out.
Trying to poop it out in an airplane. How do you guys feel about it?
I have 2 stories about going to the hospital. Number one, way back in college, I went thinking, I was having like a heart attack or something, and it ended up that it was just gas, and I had
and that's happened a number of times to me too.
Who was with me, and it was like, when they deliver that news in front of her, it was like, okay, cool. So I can just go. I think you're free to go.
What's the prescription? Just fart it out.
That was it. So it was like, that was embarrassing, and that kind of helped, because and that's weird to me, because I'm normally somebody who would not go to the hospital.
Yeah,
I would usually just gut stuff out, and I went to Puerto Rico with my buddy. Do you remember John Solomon?
Yeah.
So John Solomon, Colin Jost was there. It was this surfing trip that they were going on. I'm not a good surfer, but I just went to go to Puerto Rico. So we're doing this booze cruise thing, sunset booze cruise.
The best.
And I'm getting up onto the boat, and my foot slips out. I think I was wearing jeans, and I just
on a booze cruise.
My
I love it.
leg right. I think it was this one.
Were you wearing those bedazzled flip-flops?
No, I was not.
Okay.
No, they grip.
I think I was wearing flip-flops, and just my leg pounded against the side, and we get up, and I'm like, oh, that was
a doozy.
I slammed that. I'm gonna see what's happening down there, and I lifted up because I was sure that there was blood or something. there was this gouge, a very deep gouge in my leg, but no blood was coming out.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, it's all going to start to come.
Force.
Never came.
Whoa.
So for the next couple days, a tiny trickle of clear fluid kept pouring.
That's not
trickling,
good.
Yeah.
trickling out. And I'm like,
Your wound was like seeping.
this is so gross. But we had a nurse practitioner with our group, and she said, don't worry about it. It's fine.
The body's going to do what the body's going to do.
Yeah. So I was not worrying about it. And then New Year's came, and then we were going, oh, this is like a name drop central. This
Do
good.
it.
we were going to Mary Steenburgen's
We know
Aunt
her.
Frida.
She's an Ojai. Oh,
Yeah,
What?
she's the best. Her and Ted both.
Yeah.
We were going to her Aunt Frida's, I think then it was her 90th birthday, and it was in Little Rock, Arkansas. So
Great.
John and I, the only flight we could get was to Louisville, which didn't really matter that much for the story. But on that flight from Puerto Rico to Louisville, my leg, for the first time,
Exploded.
it had not hurt at all. And in fact, had never hurt. It was
Altitude.
like, oh, it's so weird.
Except
this
for that slam, the initial
trickle
slam.
of fluid, but like, besides that, nothing. And then it started throbbing.
I don't like where this is
on
going.
the the flight. So I was like, okay, well, this is
he's okay.
And it's still
this
just like a
is just
dent
like
in your legs.
one of the stages of healing.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
still
I
just
guess
like
body's gonna do
nothing
that.
had filled up. It didn't start to scab up or anything.
Yeah.
So I land in Louisville. It's throbbing. Life goes on. I'm able to walk, but it like,
Yeah.
it's
starting
throbbing
to-
all the time.
Yeah.
Me and John go to the Maker's Mark tour. We do a couple things. Then we drive to Nashville to meet up with Kristen Shaw and her husband Rich.
There's another name. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that name.
Yeah. I know.
This was
familiar with it.
around the time that we were doing. Yeah, we were definitely doing Last Man on Earth at this time.
Such a good show, man.
We were going to meet up with them and then road trip down to Little Rock. And so we hung in Nashville for a couple days. I was just having a hard time sleeping at that point because I couldn't. My leg was just throbbing.
And you still weren't like, I should go to the doctor.
I think that's the point. That's
I'm like,
we'll talk about that tendency.
Well, but the nurse practitioner had already cleared you.
I was like, this is going to be fine. Well, she wasn't there for any of the pain or throbbing stuff, and
Well, you're probably still using that.
It's
as
fine.
A,
I'm sure it'll be better tomorrow. It's got this is probably the worst it's gonna get, and then it'll go away. And then John Solomon said, "Okay, I'm gonna do a WebMD thing.
Yeah.
Let's just do
At
that."
the very least, yeah.
So this doctor said,
Clear fluid.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get you some antibiotics.
Yeah.
And so I went late at night, like midnight, found a place that this guy gave me these antibiotics and told me a story about his friend who had recently died from some kind of
A gouge in his leg.
something
Seeping
similar.
clear fluid,
something
yeah.
like,
Clear
it just gets
fluid's
to a
bad,
point where
man.
it doesn't turn back. And I'm like, well, not for me because I got these. So I went home. I started taking these things. It is not really doing much, but I'm like, these things, I'm sure it'll kick in at some point.
I keep thinking you're like
Doing the
sprinkling
job.
the antibiotics on your. Is it a cream or is it a?
It's like a salt.
I'm thinking about, you're pouring it over. Yeah.
The next night, we're eating dinner, and Shaw just says, "We're taking you to the hospital right now. This is just stupid. Why
Just wincing through dinner. Just
go?"
like,
And I'm like, "It's gonna be fine." She's like, "I'm not taking no for an answer. We're just going." So we finished dinner.
woman to the rescue.
Go
a little
over there.
sensibility.
Go to Vanderbilt. And we're in this long line, and they
they're like-
recognize Shaw
Yeah.
from
But
Last
not you.
Man on Earth.
Yeah. Right. And you're like,
And like they're doing all kinds of things. They love her, and for me, it's like, oh, you're the patient, okay.
Yeah.
But they finally get me in, and they're like, oh, this. Oh, you're staying here in the hospital. I'm like, no, we got Aunt Frida's birthday.
90th
So
in Little Rock.
They let me go, but what it was essentially like, bacteria from the ocean. Is even gnarlier than regular bacteria.
Yeah.
They're just like,
And that
it
deck,
could
who
be a
knows what was
mess
on
of
that
things
deck,
down
man.
there. Yeah, you just
Wow.
because I don't think I went swimming, but like I was down by the beach and I didn't really care too much. I didn't have a Band-Aid on it.
Yeah.
I wasn't
'Cause it's a gouge, it's not a
protecting it.
gash.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it didn't seem like there was anything to worry about. But thank God for Shaw. Because at a certain point, if I had waited another day, an infection like that just might get to a point where they just can't stop it
like
anymore.
sepsis, like it goes into your bone
Yeah.
or something. I just keep picturing like a dent in your bone. I just want to like fill it
Yeah.
in with spackle.
So they let me go, but they drew, marker lines on my legs and said, if this gets any further than this, if that red gets any further,
that's
then,
never a good
then
sign when
go
they draw
immediately to
markers on your
the
leg,
emergency room.
Wow.
Because you got problems. But they gave me some really hardcore antibiotics.
But demolished your guts.
Thank God to Shaw, because I just would have said like, oh, it'll be fine. And I learned a lesson from that. Like, just kind of go whenever.
Well, I think to that point too, like, it shouldn't get to the degree where someone has to drag you to the hospital.
Well, I mean, I've been on like a little bit of a health journey in the last year or so. So my incident was, I'm from a small town in Northern California, Central Valley. And I was Red Bluff, 2 hours north of Sacramento.
Okay.
My mom had passed, and we were having her celebration of life. And so I was up there, and I had been having some like pain in my tooth. Just when I'm eating. So I was like, eating on one side, and I'll go to the dentist at some point and get it looked at. And it was the night before my mom's celebration of life, and my whole family were out at this Mexican restaurant. And that day I had gone on a long hike with my daughter, and then I was like, my mom was really into baking pies. I made some pies that I would have at her service, and I forgot to like drink water, and then I had a couple glasses of wine, and I'm making the pies, and I get to the restaurant, and I have half of a margarita, and I'm eating, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh, I think my tooth just broke.
Oh shit!
And so I turned to my wife, and I said, "Can you see, did my tooth break?" And she's like, "Yeah, it broke." And then I was like, "Oh, okay." And then everything just came crashing in my mind of like, okay, I'm in Red Bluff. It's Saturday night. I broke my tooth. I'm gonna miss my mom's service. I just fucked everything up, and I passed out.
You passed out.
I completely passed out. I come to, and apparently I just like, my eyes rolled back, and I leaned, and I just like fell back in my chair. But it was like a big chair, and I didn't fall over or anything.
Yeah, you just got more comfortable.
Yeah, very comfortable. I guess I was out for a couple minutes. I look over, and my daughter's just sitting there crying, and like,
that's a severe amount of time to be passed out.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. It could have been,
this is like,
but they had already called the paramedics, and so the paramedics come. I get wheeled out on a stretcher in the Mexican restaurant.
This is worst case scenario for a broken tooth, man. I don't think I've ever heard of worse.
And so like they're wheeling me into the ambulance, and like my sister-in-law had taken my daughter out, and I just see her like, I'm being wheeled out, and she's like looking at me out of the car window and just like whimpering, and I'm like, I'm okay, sweetheart. And no, but in that moment I'm like, no, I don't need to go. I'm fine. I don't need to go to the hospital, right? Yeah, I'm fine. And then they were like, I think you're just dehydrated, but we're seeing evidence of a prior heart attack.
Of a prior heart attack.
Yeah, it's not tonight. It was not tonight. And okay, great. So then that started me on my health journey, where I was like, okay, I got to get a new primary care physician, because I would go to the doctor, but just like not enough. And so I got into this new doctor, and he's like, I don't know. I showed him the EKG, and he's like, I don't know. Let's get you tested. I'm not sure that's a heart attack. Those ER docs, they don't always know what they're talking about. Because he's like, it can be affected by where they place the sensor.
Right.
And especially in an emergency situation, it may not get placed in the right place. And so I went through the whole thing, and I had to go do a heart test and everything else. And they're like, oh no, you're fine. You have the heart of a 30-year-old. And so there was no history of a heart attack. So I was just dehydrated.
That's a journey.
And emotional. And it was mom's funeral service was the next day.
Let me ask you this. How long did it take you to get the tooth fixed?
As soon as I got back to Ojai.
I had a broken tooth in my mouth for 2 months.
Yeah. But then
what?
Yeah, it was my back molar. It just left this like I had a half tooth. And I was like, I was like shooting a TV show. And finally one of my producers was like, hey man, your breath smells horrible. It's like rotten tooth in my mouth. He's like, I got a dentist. I'm going to send you this dentist.
But then 6 months later, I broke the same tooth on the other side. And they were both like filling teeth. And I went to the dentist. I'm like, trying to even what's going on? Yeah. And she's like, you are grinding your teeth. Yeah. And so now I have a mouth guard. And
me too.
She's like, it's stress related. And I'm like, okay, yeah, well, that makes sense. I've had a stressful year. I broke down in the dentist's office, like crying, you know. I was like, "Oh, my
I'm sorry.
mom died. My
I think we're
mom
starting to
died.
get to know you, Reed, yeah.
I'm getting divorced, you know."
Yeah.
And then they're doing all this. So I had to have 2 crowns, you know. And it's like
dental
they're
work is
doing all this shit.
traumatizing, man. Yeah.
And so I like multiple times cried at the dentist's office. Tyler, I love our Patreon community.
Me too.
It's so fun. We're having good conversations. We are getting in there, having behind the scenes footage, kind of showing different sides of us. In fact, we were talking with part of the staff here at Tiny Legends today, and they were saying it's a really good place to unleash your anxiety. So whenever we're feeling...
We're going to get creative on there,
whenever we're feeling like nervous about the show, we can just tape a little selfie video, and then we can post it on our Patreon.
And if you have a lot of money and you want to support us, we would really appreciate it. You get that top tier button, but also you get a weekly shout out on the show. So it's a little bonus.
And, we are absolutely cobbling this thing together. So the support of our listeners and viewers is so important to keep the show going. Yeah. We want to continue having these conversations, continue having these guests come in. I think we have actually a good show. I'm really proud of it. And we're so appreciative of everyone listening. And so if you want to help support, join our community, be a part of it. It's patreon.com/ILYSM pod. ILYSM pod.
That's it.
Come on in.
Yeah.
Look, it's well established at this point. I'm not a pet guy.
You're not a pet guy.
But if I have a candle in my house, I want it to be pet friendly in case a pet comes over. I mean,
You
I would
never
never
know.
allow a pet in my house.
Yeah.
But
in case.
Yeah, in case. And I know you have pets.
Yeah, and we're also working on changing here in this podcast, right? We might change that about you eventually.
Well, if I want a pet friendly candle that's non-toxic, that's made by a small business, hand poured, Night Blooms Goods.
That's the one right there.
Check out their website, nightbloomsgoods.com. You're going to see all the different candles they have. They're a 1% for the planet company, Tyler.
Which is amazing.
And these are good people. I've gotten to know them a little bit because we've created, of course, our signature candle.
Yeah.
It's the I Love You So Much candle, ILYSM candle. It is, Yuzu Blossom. On Santal.
Yeah.
Man,
It smells like love.
It does smell
so
like
much.
love. It's so much smells like love.
Yeah.
It is so great. So you can't get that on nightbloomsgoods.com, but you can get it on ILYSMpod.com, which is our merch store. But go to Night Blooms' website and you're going to use the code ILYSM20 and you're going to get 20% off your first order. And they have 12 different scented candles and they're all phenomenal. They look great in your home, non-toxic, all the stuff. So we cannot stress enough how much we love these candles.
I want to pull this around to what you were saying, though, because in the theme of the show, the idea of procrastinating on taking care of yourself, going to the doctor, that was definitely modeled for me by my dad, who fancied himself a doctor, by the way. He had me suck a calcium deposit out of the back of his head with a syringe in the bathroom when I was 9.
What?
My dad did weird shit. He would set bones. He was that kind of guy. No degree, no PhD.
Eat it. No,
Yeah.
Eat it.
Just eat the
Calcium's good
calcium
for you.
And I did, and it was awful. No, so I think the idea of putting your health first was not modeled for me. It was very much like if they wanted me to get braces, my dad was like, "That's a racket, no braces." And then I went through and then I had 4 impacted wisdom teeth. And my dad was like, "Don't worry about it. They'll take care of themselves." All this shit. So obviously you grow up and you're like, that's just what I saw. I don't immediately jump to I'm going to go to the hospital. It always takes somebody else saying hey, and I didn't even know that about myself until my now partner was like, you know that you don't take care of yourself, right? You don't, it takes somebody else to be take you there. And I wonder if it's were we all just modeled that because that was the generation of men that raised us? Or is that a typically male trait? Is that a thing that men are just more
I don't know. I think there's a lot of fear involved. I don't part of me is I don't want to know.
Yeah.
If
that's a big element.
Okay, I'm overweight. I know, you know, I don't need to be told that,
that's bullshit
I'm
too.
going to die.
On the way out of an exam, a doctor's always hey, and by the way, lose 35 pounds.
You're
I hadn't thought of that.
Know.
Yeah.
I want to know. I've done a couple things in the last couple of years, especially having kids. As dad, you want to
be around.
Be there.
Yeah.
So it's so I did a Prenuvo scan. It's that full body scan.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. My friend AJ did that. Yeah.
Yeah, and the doctor basically said it's the only bad part about it is they find everything. So
get ready.
You might see some things that are not a problem that you get nervous about, and it's great. I want everything to get found.
But was that modeled for you? Like, did your dad, was he like, yeah, I'll look into it. I'll take care of things as they come up? Or was he like
I don't remember him. He's a very active person, so I don't remember him having
like a
lot of health challenges. He did have, he's now old and has been a skier his whole life. Still skis. He's 80, just about to be 82.
God damn,
and
dad,
like
man.
he's, knees replaced and had a bad back for a while and then had some surgery. So like stuff like that where you just you literally can't move. Of course he's gonna take care of it.
But otherwise he's like,
Yeah. The other thing I did was I did a couple different heart tests because I'm a lifelong ice cream fanatic.
I do remember.
I mean, I've fluctuated. I've been a little on the pudgier side, and then I've been in pretty good shape. I'm kind of in the good shape version of myself.
But you're like
recently.
just publicly, I think of you as a thin person.
That's nice of you to say. I mean, when I first got to SNL, I was, just the history of my life.
Just a little fluctuation here and there.
Anywhere from right around close to what a normal person should be weighing to 40 pounds overweight.
Oh, really?
Freshman year of college, I was,
Freshman
I
10.
put on probably
15.
30 to 40 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
Freshman 30.
I was just drinking beer all the time and
You're
just
loving life,
late night
man.
eats, pints of ice cream every night.
Oh.
Anyway,
Hard
so
stance,
a history
right.
of eating and loving ice cream.
That's
And then went
my big
on
vice
stat-
is
We'll
the
get
ice
into
cream.
favorite flavors after this.
I went to a heart place and they did a heart scan, like a calcium test, and they said zero calcium.
Zero is
and I'm
better.
like, this test is broken.
Yeah.
Later, I talked to my doctor and he said, go to this guy. So this heart guy said, there's this test. I don't think you need to do it. But I was always concerned about thinking about Jim Fixx, that famous runner back in the days, and seemed like a very healthy person. I think he died of a heart attack.
Right.
Like people like
just
that
keel over.
who you just don't know what's happening in that
yeah.
heart. What if I'm one of those people? And knowing how much I love ice cream and cheeseburgers and stuff like that, I gotta get to the bottom of this and see what I'm dealing with. So I went and did this test, and the same thing that the Pronuvo people say,
You're gonna find out some shit.
or it wasn't the Pronuvo people, it was my doctor who said this, but the same thing, like you might find out bad news, and some people don't want to know that, and I'm like, that's why I'm doing this, to find out, so I can correct anything. And it ended up that I was like doing well, heart is in good shape and nothing to worry about. But at the same time, I had a buddy who I worked with who did a similar type test, way leaner than I am, runs all the time, had to get a quintuple bypass.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's like the most tuple bypass you can get.
Yeah.
Doing great now. He's doing great.
Oh.
Yeah,
So-
keep on top of it, guys.
Yeah.
So
Keep on top of it.
ice cream.
Yeah, but I feel like the idea of like wanting to know is what I struggle with. Like I'm a hypochondriac as well, so everything is like worst case scenario for me.
Yeah.
I jump to cancer with everything, but then I won't go look into it because I'm like I really don't want to find out that I have cancer.
But would you rather die from the cancer?
No,
than-
it's a good question you pose, but like it's the fear that grips me, and I think that's what Reed was getting at. Is like I don't know if as a man I deal with my fear of my mortality very well. Like dealing with like I would be okay with going in after I got the diagnosis, like going in and getting the chemo and doing the whole thing, but like it's that step to finding out, that first step where it becomes real. Kind of like you can. It's like if I avoid it for long enough, maybe it'll just go away. Like it's like pooping it out in Sacramento, which never happened.
I think forward to like, what is the worst thing that this could end in?
Yeah.
It's like death, right?
Yeah.
And it's like you're pushing yourself to the worst outcome by not doing it. So
Right, like you're
the
probably
scariest
making that
thing,
happen.
Yeah, the as scared as you would be of finding out, you'd be way scarier to find out 6 months later.
Yeah, and then they're like, and now you can't do shit about it.
Yeah.
But like after the clot, I definitely I went to a functional medicine doctor and I'm like on top of everything, and I've had like procedures done and little surgeries and things, and now I'm kind of like do it right away. Like I have kind of switched
Well, that's
the
great
track.
because it's like the fear of the unknown. Once you get the knowns going, then you're like, okay, I know I'm in good shape. So let's keep. I
Then it's like tweaking.
this feeling.
Yeah,
of,
I have like
Yeah.
I'm on so many micro doses of so many things. I have so many needles and injections, and I'm like addicted to it now. I am an addict, but I just love shooting things into my body with a needle. But it's okay. It's prescribed. But I think that it took almost dying though. Like it wasn't even having my kids that made me, which you would think that did a lot to me. But like the immediacy of my death, and the like spontaneity of it, like it just out of nowhere. It was like, you can die today, and I was like,
Yeah, but that's every day.
that invincibility.
day,
I know, but then
everybody.
you don't. It takes that moment, like that invincibility cloak, like drops away, and you're like, any day I can die. And then that was when I was like, okay, I gotta like, anytime anything happens, I'm like going to the doctor.
Yeah, control the ones that you can control because they're obviously, we all get in cars every day, and that's.
What, do people die in cars?
You haven't heard?
No. How? Of what? What disease?
I'm so sorry to go back, but I gotta know about your ice cream.
Yeah. What's the flaves?
And I've never heard anyone say I have a big ice cream problem.
Or I
It's
have a
usually
history. I have a
sweets
history of
or-
eating ice cream.
And
for
you
me,
almost
it's
said
really
it as
ice
like
cream.
you were like, I know you all know this already, but like I'm super into
Heavily
ice cream.
publicized.
Well,
I do.
we
Yeah.
in Wilmington,
Oh,
would
we
go to
ate
this
some-
place,
yeah.
Kilwins, right?
Yeah, Killins was the shit. I'm an ice cream fanatic myself. It's my kryptonite for sure.
I'm lactose intolerant.
I am too, but I eat the shit out of ice cream, man.
I can eat cheese though. I mean, but the ice cream.
What was the rock bottom of your ice cream eating journey? Did you ever hit a bottom like where you're like, I need help with this?
No, it's not like that.
It
but
carries on.
I can't be trusted with any kind of ice cream.
Right. It's across
I'm
the
really
board.
proud of myself because the last couple nights I have had only like
You didn't eat the
a
whole thing?
serving of ice cream.
Oh wow.
Like a suggested serving.
Yeah, like because it's usually just the whole pint. So what I try to do is like when Halo Top came around, it's like, oh, this is great because
eat the whole thing.
I can eat the whole thing, which you still shouldn't eat the whole.
Probably not.
Halo
No,
Top, right?
And like, but I look at a pint of ice cream like that is a serving. That looks like a serving to me.
So my number one right now. That's I think what you're going like.
Absolutely.
What's your number one flavor?
We all want to know.
This is not even close. This is the best of all, and I have a history. I can tell you. You know what? I'll start.
I love the history.
I'll
ice cream with
ramp
you.
up to number one.
Okay,
But,
are we gonna go like top
here
five,
are
top
the.
three?
I'll tell you a couple that are
How about
real
top three
special
with a
to
couple
me.
special
but
mentions,
then
yeah.
double chocolate malted crunch. I'll always have a special thing from Thrifty.
Is that
ice cream.
that's making a big comeback. The
That's
Thrifty ice
like
cream.
I just like the thin shaved chocolate chunks, chocolate chips.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
not chips, chipped
Chipped chocolate.
Yes.
Got it.
I like it took a planer.
and then the little crunchy things. That's
Yeah.
You like texture in
always
your
been
ice cream.
there.
Yeah.
I don't love a busy ice cream. It can
Because
get too
I don't
busy
like
for me, but
chocolate chip ice cream. I like when it's
Chipped
flaky, chipped. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like how I like my ice, like chipped ice.
Oh yeah.
Best thing.
Well, see,
to
but
me.
I don't like it when those kind of things in ice cream. It's too cold. Like I don't like if I'm gonna eat chocolate, I don't want it to be frozen.
I love
Right, that's why
yeah.
the chipped chocolate is great because that
It's
kind of
so brittle. It
melts
just
in
kinda-
there.
Yeah. Okay.
Like Alden's mint chocolate chip. We'll get into that after.
Yeah.
Let's hear your.
I think it's So Delicious brand.
Oh yeah.
Cashew milk.
Oh, I love it.
Oh yeah.
Is it the peanut butter?
The caramel cluster, maybe.
Yeah, that's a
Although
good
that one, those
peanut
are all
butter-
pretty
the
good.
peanut
But
butter
that one's
so
up there
delicious.
for
Oh,
me.
my God.
Just any kind of hot fudge sundae with anything, but it's got to be vanilla ice cream.
Yeah.
Right with the hot
for
fudge
me.
sundae, Yeah.
And way too much hot fudge.
Yeah.
That's one of my pet peeves. It's like, when they give you too little ketchup with cheeseburgers and French fries,
Ratios are
or
important.
too little of the hot fudge. Okay, caramel cone.
Oh.
Haagen-Dazs caramel
Yeah,
cone.
that's-
That was my number one
yeah.
before. By the way, I think it's called dirt cake or dirt pie. That's a new entry that's pretty good from Ben and Jerry's.
Ben and Jerry's. Oh, yeah. B&J's is one of my
Really
faves,
good.
man.
But the number one, no doubt, not even close. This isn't even the kind of flavor that I would have guessed ever that I would go to,
yeah.
but my wife had it, and I tried a bite of hers. Jenny's ice cream, gooey butter cake,
Oh,
Hands down, best ice cream that's ever existed.
wow.
Just want to write that down for me, please.
Chocolate vanilla mixed with chocolate. And this is like, I don't even know how to describe it. I don't even know what it is. I don't want to know.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's
that was
hot. That's a sexy ice
See,
cream.
I can't
man.
even see it because I won't go home.
Well,
I don't eat a lot of Jenny's. That's
So,
a sexy looking ice cream.
What's your feeling on soft serve?
Ew,
yeah,
that's not
but-
ice cream, man. Sorry, you
Well,
didn't ask
it
me.
is ice cream. What? I open it up to the floor.
It's frozen dairy dessert.
I'm kind of okay with all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
be
with a
honest.
hot fudge sundae though, isn't that is that a soft serve thing, or is that you do that with the hard ice cream too?
I mean, it feels like when I was growing up back in the day, we would have, what was it? A place called Fenton's. We had Fenton's. People just used
Where
to
did you
have
grow up?
places that were ice cream parlors.
Right.
Like hot, a place you would go specifically for Sundays.
Sounds like a jail.
I mean, it's like everyone has ice cream parlors.
Yeah.
They still exist.
Yeah.
It was like a soda fountain type thing
Yeah.
from back in the day. You know, Cafe 50s aesthetic. And they'd just make these huge piles of ice cream with hot fudge on them, and you'd go in there. Fuddruckers was
Oh
one.
yeah,
yeah,
Fuddruckers, man. They had the ice cream.
But
they had the
Fuddruckers
Sunday
was kind of
bar.
like a
Is it-
cheeseburger,
Yeah,
like
but they had
everything, but they had
a
those at
Sunday
the
bar,
end.
didn't they? Wasn't it
This
the
place,
Fuddruckers thing?
Fenton's, was, at least from what I remember, all just like ice cream sundaes.
I remember Fuddruckers when it was like a hot era for birthday parties at one point when it was like the late '80s.
Yeah.
And they had a Sunday bar. I don't know if you remember that. And it was
I
like
don't.
every kind of topping, but they had this one that just like changed my life. It was like liquid marshmallow. So it was like marshmallow. So I'm sure,
But it wasn't marshmallow cream.
Not a
It was like
marshmallow
No, it was
cream.
like liquid marshmallow, and when you put it on the ice cream, it would sort of go back to its like elasticy state. So you'd be like, it was like almost like a magic shell marshmallow on.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Did you guys have the ice cream parlor where they had the pig? There was one
gonna
near
need
where I
more
grew up, and I
details.
did, yeah. Well, it was like this mechanical pig, and if you sat on it, it shook really hard. And if you drank a glass of water without spilling it,
you got like a
you got a free sundae.
I love that.
It sounds very niche to me.
Yeah, I just
You just brought up a pet peeve of mine. Another one is places that serve like a apple pie with some kind of creme fraiche. Or what?
yeah.
Creme
What?
fraiche is more like that's not with
no,
what's
like
the,
whipped cream or something.
Yeah.
So
no,
you got to have vanilla ice cream or a slice of cheddar cheese. I don't know if anyone
I
else
feel
does.
like
Oh,
I
yeah.
should get a discount
Right, if they
on
do
my
that.
meal for
Yeah,
that
yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah.
A scoop of ice cream.
How dare you?
It's like, oh, sorry, we don't have a freezer in the back. Well,
And then
then
it was like
get
Ready
a
Whip.
fucking
Yeah, you
new,
fucking do.
get your restaurant in a new place that can get a
Yeah.
freezer.
And by the way, they fucking do have a freezer back there. There's no way that a restaurant doesn't have a freezer.
yeah, right?
Yeah, just stick a little ice cream in there. Whole pint for you. Ice cream, for me, number one flavor. My whole life has been mint chocolate chip. But there's a spectrum of mint chocolate chip.
Yeah.
There's horribly like neon electric green with
Which
like
has
big,
like one chip every
Yeah.
4 inches or something.
yeah, which
Ugh.
is not the ratio. Like I said, ratios are
Yeah.
important to me. I mean, they're important for sandwiches and ice cream, especially. Alden's is like a very natural, like double churned, thick ice cream, and it's like that nice mellow green color. And they do the chipped chocolate, so it's not chips. It's
What does the double churn do?
I don't know. So see, it's mint chip, but it's like it's not
Ooh, that
chocolate
looks
chip.
good
It's
green,
too,
yeah.
like, and
because
it's all through it, and they
you
just
got
sort of
the flakes.
It's almost like eating an Aero bar. You know what I mean? Like where it was like chocolate, but not. It's mostly air.
I don't like mint and chocolate together.
My wife is super into it. I will go there.
In a pinch.
It sounds like you'll eat if there's ice cream. You'll eat it.
I'd
It
prefer
doesn't really
just
matter.
regular chocolate chip with that
Chips
kind
of
of
chocolate.
chips of
Flaky,
chocolate
yeah.
Yeah.
all over the place.
Yeah,
It needs
it
to
has
be.
to be like just populated.
Oh, my wife, and I've done this too from time to time, but like she'll dive in. Like if she's one of those people that goes in for, like, if you have cookie dough ice cream, they'll get all the cookie dough out and then just leave the ice cream, the different chunks of ice cream.
Oh.
She's a wonderful woman, but that's just that's not
we all
cool.
have flaws, you know.
Well, I've been out of the ice cream game for a while now
Yeah.
because of the lactose thing. But like for me is the hazelnut gelato. Man, that is like the top tier of ice cream. Could not. Get
I don't know
better than
why a gelato. I will never get excited about going to a gelato place.
Yeah.
You know what? I think I'm kind of the same way with an ice cream place. I like it being in a pint
At home.
Oh.
at home, and I don't like standing up and eating on the go. I want to sit, somewhere in front of a TV and just like.
Do you shame eat your ice cream?
I do a lot of like closing my eyes.
Yeah. Oh, so you luxuriate. You luxuriate on your ice cream. I usually for the
You're
first
always
3
like,
bites, I'm like,
I sometimes talk to it like, oh, fucking
But with
tastes so good
the last
again.
half of the pint, do you ever get to that like shameful? I do. I get to the last half of the pint, and I'm like, I got to close the curtains, and like I got to shame eat the rest of the pint, and it's not even that enjoyable. I'm eating it, and I'm like, oh, why am I fucking doing this?
I have justifications. I'll get through, and I'll go like, you know what? It's probably better for me to eat this all at once than in 2 chunks because my body's like, there's too much of this. I'm not even going to process some. Some I'm just going to let you shit out.
Later.
It's not going to convert into fat. I tell myself all kinds of little stories.
My
like
favorite
that.
excuse is to like, well, I'm not gonna put that back. You know, like that's not enough of an amount to like put back in the freezer.
Oh,
like,
yeah, no.
And then you get a
You have
little
to
closer to
walk
the end.
all
You're
the
like,
way
well, I'm
over
not
there,
gonna go put that back in the freezer, and it just
Yeah.
keeps that's like the repeat excuse.
That's a good.
It's a good one. It works every time.
What you said about the chocolate and it, like it being cold.
Yes.
I remember when there was, and I think it still exists, bubblegum ice cream.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
And
Yeah,
I would get that all. Those freaking things were so
Frozen
hard, and I
chunks of
loved it
bubblegum.
as a
Yeah.
kid.
It's the texture. It's the
Well,
texture.
and that's why, like, I don't like if I'm getting frozen yogurt, I don't want to put gummy bears as a topping because then they get too cold, and it's like
I
I just never understood
I
that.
just wanted like in the bubblegum ice cream, just shaved little flakes of gum. I'm
I
kidding.
we're gonna change this to ice cream life.
yeah,
yes,
exactly.
sir. Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask you, like, do you feel like MacGruber is what led us as a culture to Andrew Tate?
If so,
Oh man,
hey man,
that whole
They-
situation.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Are
Yeah.
they here now? They're here now.
No, I think they're bad. I don't know. It's horrible, but
maybe we do
That's
a part
nuts.
2 with you. I know
Yeah.
you gotta go. This
Yeah.
is like, but
Oh
yeah,
my
we
God.
did want to talk about the inspirations from MacGruber coming from like some of the most toxically
Yeah.
masculine models we all grew up with. You know,
Yeah.
and like how you took it and navigated.
That'll be part 2. I gotta come back for
yeah,
for
no,
more.
that's we really did want to get into that.
That
but,
was
you
our
know,
main
we got-
topic. We were like, we'll talk to you about toxic
I
masculinity.
ice
but-
creamed you
Yeah,
guys.
you did.
Oh man.
you ice. Oh, I see. I see what
honestly,
you
we
did
could
there.
go through another whole episode just talking about ice cream.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
fill
yeah.
out that time.
Well,
and
I
then
feel like
get
I'd
to
just be sitting there most of the time though, because
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like I don't
not
have a
your
lot of
thing.
ice cream to add in right
Yeah.
now. You know, maybe I'll just start taking the lactose.
You know,
pills
there's a
and-
lot of dairy-free.
What
ice
is
cream.
your version of? What are you a connoisseur of?
Yeah.
a connoisseur. Well,
What's
I don't
your,
know.
like-
I mean, I'm a
Are
salty.
you a cheeseburger guy?
Yeah, I like cheeseburgers. I'm a salty, salty
You are a
snack
salty
guy.
dog.
Yeah, I'm a salty dog.
You old
yeah.
sailor, you.
So that passion you were speaking about ice cream, I don't feel like I have that.
That's rare. That's a
Oh,
rare
man.
level of passion for
Yeah.
anything.
I feel a little bad for you.
Yeah.
a little what bad.
I
for
want
me.
you to have
Yeah.
that passion about.
I've been working on trying to find more passions. I feel
Yeah.
like over this last few hard years, you know, I felt like a bit dead inside a little bit, and like I'm not
Oh.
feeling things and enjoying things, and like so I feel like I'm on this path now to doing things to reacquainting myself with what I like and
You
what
may
I'm doing.
find
And
a
now
thing that you're
yeah,
just like, oh,
yeah,
you have
and now
room
you
for
know
now.
because I've been living on my own for 6 months now, and like
Mm-hmm.
it's you know, and I'm just getting to the point where I'm like, oh, what does Reed like to do?
Mm-hmm.
You know, outside of being a dad or being a bad husband or being
Yeah.
what do I like?
What do I eat?
Yeah,
There's gonna be a really awesome moment for you when you like take a bite of something, or you you're just doing, or maybe it's an activity and it's
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
something's
lightning
gonna
bolt.
zing you, and it's
Yeah.
like gonna just it's like a commercial where everything's black and white, and then everything's gonna be all in color.
Well, you know, yeah,
That's gonna
I
happen.
had a mini version of that a couple weeks ago. I was sitting down and I was like, well, wait a second, it's Sunday. You know, I'm going to do the goddamn acrostic.
Yes.
And so I did the acrostic, and I was like, I love doing this. Why haven't I done this? Because I never felt like I could sit down for half an hour and like do it. And
That's a
and
win.
to have that, I was like, oh yeah, I enjoy things.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah,
There's
it's
like
great.
all this room all of a sudden. Yeah. The freedom to do the
Yeah,
acrostic.
yeah. So it had to be in something super dorky, but it's okay. I can.
I do the crossword every day. I don't do the acrostic, but
Yeah.
the crossword and the spelling bee.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Bit of a nut. It's
Well,
like
you got to
New
have
York
the
Times
yeah.
games.
Oh, the New York Times games app. So good. Yeah.
I don't like Wordle. Wordle is too hyped.
I do Quirtle and Octurtle, but not Wordle.
Did you ever do Worldle?
I did.
Look, yeah, that one was fun.
The very first day I went there, I nailed it, and then just
Never went back.
sucked the rest.
Oh yeah, I don't
It's
win.
so hard.
Yeah, it's very hard, but fun. kind of.
Very fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I did all the Ols.
Yeah. There was one that was like a movie poster one.
Framed?
It was in the Wordle sort of world.
There was
right?
also a music Hurdle.
Hurdle. Yeah.
Was
Hurdle.
the music a music one?
Yeah. That was a good one too.
That was really fun.
I love it. I love all those games.
This has been the most wholesome episode of all time, I think, and I'm obsessed. But
That's what we're here to do.
I know. I do think you have to go, but I wanted to know if you have anything you want to plug, like anything going on.
4 seasons.
Yeah, I just watched 4
I mean,
seasons.
I'm currently on the 4 seasons.
Yeah.
Which we just
Which is
heard we got
huge, man.
a second season, which is
congratulations.
very
All right.
exciting.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited about that. And then because that's kind of been launched and out, I guess the next thing that I'm very excited about, and I don't even know when it's coming out yet, but I think sooner than we think, is Coyote versus Actor.
It's coming. I thought
which
it got
is
shelved. I thought it was like
it
done.
got
You had a whole.
it is alive.
Yeah, because that
It's
to
not
me
only
was like,
it was bought by this company called Ketchup Entertainment.
Yeah.
And the release said it is going to be shown theatrically in 2026.
That's awesome.
But I think there's a chance it's going to be 2025.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Bump it up a
I
little.
think there's a good chance.
It's exciting, man. That was an exciting project, right? Like, Come on.
It was the roller coaster ride of that thing. I have no
I remember
idea
your
why that
heartbreak
was the one
post,
that
man.
got chosen to be like shelved. It's so good. I'm so excited about it. And I got to see it. And it was like, I was almost expecting to go in and not like it because it was like, oh, they must.
it
must be so bad.
Because
right?
it had already been completed. It was testing really well.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, there must be something.
Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah.
And then I got to go in and see this just awesome movie that I was so proud of, and it was so frustrating. And you know, these guys
That
just
post
came
you
in
put up
and
was so heartbreaking,
and
man.
just completely rescued it.
saved it, yeah.
And it's so exciting. I'm so excited for people to
And
see
you're going to work with Eric Appel right
Yeah,
now. Are you?
I leave
Yeah,
tomorrow
and
morning.
Zach Cherry. I just did a movie with Zach Cherry. He's fantastic. Zach
it.
Cherry.
I am very
from
excited
Severance.
about that.
He's a fantastic guy.
He's fantastic. There's a bunch of nice
It's
people.
a good cast in there.
Camille is
I know Camille
doing
as well.
a
He's
part in
great,
it.
man.
He's such a delight, and Colin Jost, who I've known forever.
Yeah.
Look at these insiders.
And then
Fun,
freaking
man.
Nick
Yeah, this is
Bergazzi, who's
That's right. I know. Yeah, who's like
I don't
having
know
his
super
real
well,
moment.
but he is so funny.
Please tell Carrie Kenny that I say hello.
I will.
She's
Isn't she
wonderful.
the
We don't
best?
know each other very well, but we like follow each other and we like comment on each other's things and like
You can
she
say
is.
hi.
I just
you can say
I
hi
love
for me
her.
too.
I
She is- I
love
will.
her.
I definitely
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
She's like I think one of the
so
funniest
funny
people
and
in the world.
By the way, one of the such a gifted dramatic actor.
I know, and a good singer too.
Oh yeah, her band.
Yeah,
Cake
she was.
Light?
Yeah, she was in like
Cake
a
Light,
rad
right?
like '90s band, man.
They're really good.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard
Yeah.
a lot of it. It's like, oh, how was this not like?
I know it was kind of a thing, but it never like blew up. But yeah, she's great.
Yeah. Oh, she's a delight.
Part 2
Thank you,
coming,
Will.
coming.
All right.
Part
so
2
much.
coming soon. Where's
Yeah.
part
Part
2?
two. Part
Coming soon.
two.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you to all the audience. Thank you.
Will, thank you for coming, man.
Thank you for having
we
me.
We have I love you so much candles.
Yeah, that I forgot
we
them at
forgot to
home.
bring.
Yeah.
Oh, you know
But I'll
what?
get
Don't
you
even
one.
worry about it. My wife hates candles.
Oh well, good. Fuck it
Oh.
then.
She hates,
fuck
so
the
we
candles
just
then.
give them away. So,
Oh,
keep them
this
for
is
the
this
next.
really worked out.
We also have our ILYSM lap pillows that
Yeah.
we can get you one of these if you want. It's a comfort
I have
pillow.
too many pillows now too. But I mean,
My wife hates pillows.
if you, I'm totally fine without pillows. Okay, I'm
You're
out of here.
You're gonna get
I'm
in
nervous.
trouble.
I'm sure I'm fine.